Welcome everybody to Madden 26 and the start of my first franchise with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm excited to get started with this team. I have not spent much time with the Steelers in the past, but this feels like a really good time to take them over, try to rebuild the offense, and bring them back to the Super Bowl and get them that 7th title that would give them the most in NFL history. I'm excited to get to the AFC North again. It's a really fun and competitive division. There are certainly a lot of teams in Madden that are worse than the Steelers, but this team has been very stuck for a while, unable to break through and obtain playoff victories and get back to being a Super Bowl contender. It's been a little while. The Steelers are coming off a 10-7 season. They have a very talented defense. 4 of the 5 top-rated players are on that defense. But the offense is the story that we're going to be focused on to begin this series. And that's ultimately what makes them an intriguing franchise team. The Steelers have struggled to find the Ben Roethlisberger replacement at quarterback. And this year's experiment is a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Pittsburgh tends to be a very defense-first organization, but I certainly want to shift things more to the offensive side and still keep the defense a priority. But we have to get this offense on track if we're to compete with the Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, so many great offenses in the AFC. If you don't have one, you are falling behind. Or in the case of Pittsburgh, you have fallen behind and need a way forward. And the coach who's going to be taking over the Pittsburgh Steelers will be legendary quarterback Chuck Johnson from my Jaguars franchise last year. As a 6th-round quarterback who saw what it was like to develop an offense into a winner, I think he is the perfect man for the job. I like all the options you get here to customize your coach. I'd like to change these out throughout the year as it gets colder and break out some different looks from time to time. But we're going to go with the secondary yellow long sleeve here for Chuck Johnson. He's gotten older. He looks a little bit different than his playing days. But Chuck Johnson is here to give the Steelers more of an offensive emphasis, to see if he can get them back to the Super Bowl, to try to claim that 7th title, which would give them the most all-time. We start this series here in the preseason of 2025, and I want to get to know this team. The first thing I'm doing here is I created a roster that put George Pickens back on the Steelers so I could recreate the actual trade that happened this past offseason, so that the Steelers have the proper draft picks in 2026 and 2027. So here is the roster that we open this series with. Now, Cam Hayward, he's a 99 because of the nose tackle archetype now in the game. There are actually a bunch of defensive tackles that are graded a 99 because of this. I don't know what that's going to do in terms of like developing players, because now they're a higher overall at that archetype. What it means for contracts, maybe it's something they'll end up patching. But Cam Hayward is effectively the highest rated player on the team then. He's a longtime Steeler. He's actually played the 4th most games in team history, 211. He's also currently in real life a hold-in. He wants a new contract. After renegotiating his deal last season, he wants another pay raise. Next, we have TJ Watt, who at 30 years old is already the Steelers' all-time sack leader. TJ Watt's a phenomenal player, and we're going to get to start this series with some real defensive difference makers. TJ Watt has racked up over 100 career sacks and has back-to-back years of double digits. He also signed a contract extension that, at least at the time, made him the top non-paid quarterback in the league. I thought a strange move this offseason was when the Steelers traded Minkah Fitzpatrick back to the Dolphins so they could add Jalen Ramsey. It's never a bad idea to go grab a really good cornerback, though. Ramsey's been playing at a high level for a long time. He's now 30 years old. The trend with this team is that they have some really good players on defense, but they tend to be a lot older, and you wonder, how long can this defense in its current shape stay as good as they are? You need some players who are a little bit younger that can take the defense forward. Alex Highsmith, he's 28, and I really like him. He and TJ Watt combined to make one of the best edge tandems in the NFL. He's entering his 6th season. He's a superstar as well. Also on this defense, you have the veteran 34-year-old Darius Slay. Joey Porter, he's one of the younger defensive players then at 25 years old. Joey Porter Jr. So this team has 2 really good edge rushers. I think a really solid cornerback group. When Joey Porter's your 3rd highest rated, you're in a pretty good spot. I really liked this pick. This was such a Steelers pick in the past draft when they made Derek Harmon their 1st rounder. And perhaps he's the long-term replacement then to Cam Hayward. At 6'5", 313, he has great run-stopping skills, just like Cam Hayward has demonstrated for a long time. Plus, he can get to the quarterback. He's easily the most intriguing long-term defensive player we have right now. At linebacker, there's Patrick Queen at 82 overall. Peyton Wilson will also play. Juan Thornhill and Deshaun Elliott are the safeties. This is a really good defense. Last season, they ranked 7th in points allowed. They were 11th against the run. They were 23rd, though, in pass yards allowed. But how much better can that get with the addition of Jalen Ramsey? This defense has a lot of really good pieces and a couple young ones. Here is their 4th rounder this year, Jack Sawyer. He also has hidden development. Power rush and run stopper both come in as a 72. So there's some versatility here as we could turn him into a bit of a do-it-all linebacker. I love this skill set. I'm not sure I see him yet as a long-term starting edge, maybe more of a situational pass rusher. Just wonder if the strength and athleticism are going to be enough to be an impact player there, down in, down out. But I think off ball with some pass rush, situational usage, Sawyer would be at his best. Keanu Benton was a 2nd-round pick a couple years ago. He also fits as a nose tackle, has star development, and is versatile. It's a deep defensive line. I think this is going to be another excellent run defense this season that should stay good, given they have a couple young starters here. But we all know the issue with the Steelers. It is not the defense. This is a very good team. But they're kind of built to win games. 19-16, really ugly defensive slugfest type of games. The Steelers' offense has been their downfall since Ben Roethlisberger retired, and even at the end of his tenure when he couldn't even play under center anymore. The Steelers' offense has not found a way to keep up with the likes of Cincinnati, Kansas City, Buffalo, you name it. There are so many good offenses in the AFC, and the Steelers are not one of them. Aaron Rodgers at 41 years old, 76 overall. I get it, though. I don't think this was the year to trade up from the 20s and try to compete in a weaker quarterback class against teams that do need a quarterback and are going to take them high. The Steelers did, I think, maybe the best move for them this offseason in getting Aaron Rodgers, but you still need to find a long-term guy. Kenny Pickett was not the answer. Aaron Rodgers is probably a 1-year stopgap solution. In 2024, the Steelers ranked 20th in points scored, 23rd in yards. They ran it the 5th most times, despite being 25th in yards per attempt. They ran it a lot, they didn't run it very well, and they also gave up a lot of sacks. The offensive line is in a lot better shape than it was a few years ago. You have some players here who should continue to develop and are solidified as good starters. At center, there is Zach Frazier, who is going to be the leader in the middle of things at just 24 years old. Having an 84 overall center gives us a really good starting point along the offensive line. Troy Fautanu is only 24 years old, entering his 2nd season, and he's a well-rounded player who should be a staple on this offensive line. Of course, we have to talk about the big move they made in the offseason. They traded a third-round pick to get DK Metcalf and then sent George Pickens away for a third-rounder. I do think DK is an upgrade over George Pickens. I think he's more explosive, a better overall player, but he's still just one receiver on a team that is not very strong at this position now. Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf could make for a really fun combination, but it's hard to see this really being a difference-making connection in the AFC. The running back room is also a little bit different after Najee Harris left to the Chargers in free agency. It looks like Jaylen Warren becomes the new starter at 80 overall, and he's been a solid player. But I am intrigued with their second-round rookie out of Iowa, Caleb Johnson. My hope is that we can develop him into a really good starter. He's 6'1", 224. You gotta be a power back if you're gonna be the Steelers starter. He has good vision, trucking. He's a running back you could give a lot of touches to and should be productive in the right situation. With his pass catching and athleticism on the lower end, though, that's where Jaylen Warren still has an important role. But also I'll be, of course, searching for more running backs that complement him well, and hopefully Caleb Johnson develops well. Pat Freiermuth, I kind of look at him as the wide receiver 2 on this team, and actually I like the tight end situation here a lot, adding in Jonnu Smith, having Darnell Washington. This team should be leading the league in 2 tight end sets for sure, especially with this wide receiver depth. Robert Woods as your wide receiver 2. Really good if the year is 2019, but it's not. He had 203 receiving yards last season. This might be the weakest wide receiver depth in the NFL this season. There is really nobody outside of DK Metcalf that we're going to be developing here. So I've backed out a franchise. I want to show you a really cool menu that I'm guessing many of you have never seen before because it's at the main menu in franchise. It's the team breakdown. This ranks every team by their position. Gives you a nice idea of where teams stack up in a variety of spots. You know, in the AFC, it is absolutely stacked at quarterback, and 2 of the very best are in the Steelers division. The Steelers quarterback situation with the 41-year-old going on 42 in December, Aaron Rodgers, is ranked 21st in the NFL. Continuing with the offense, the running backs are ranked 28th, the receivers 23rd, tight end's pretty good at 11. But then tackle falls to 28, guard is average at 16, and then the center position is top 5. There is a lot of work to do with the offense to complement what is a good defense. And I think the big concern is just, okay, the defense is great right now, but it's great because of a lot of players who are older, going to be declining, maybe retiring in the case of Cam Hayward. I mean, he's a 36-year-old starting defensive lineman. There are not many of those in the league. How long will it take to build this offense into one that competes with the best teams in the AFC? And by the time that happens, what does the defense look like then? How many of these players are gone? Things change fast in the NFL. And in just a few seasons, if that's what it takes to build up the offense, things could also look very different on this side of the ball. What do I love about franchise? Of course, it's getting control of the team and making moves. And I'd like to make my first move with this franchise. A glaring issue on this team I see is at the wide receiver position. And there is a receiver out there who is looking for a new team. And I am going to be adding to the roster Treylon Burks. He was released by the Tennessee Titans. He is 25 years old, and he is going to get a second chance here from the Pittsburgh Steelers while he'll try to learn from DK Metcalf. No, I'm not going to give up what it would take to acquire Terry McLaurin. This is not a team that's a Terry McLaurin away from our ultimate goals. And I'm not giving up draft picks. Not happening here.
The dawn of a new season brings the dawn of a new era for this franchise. There's a new coach in charge, tasked with guiding this team to the peak of the NFL. For someone with dreams of reaching Canton, this first day and their first interview will set the stage for a career to come.
Coach, given your offensive background, what area of that unit do you think you'll have the biggest impact on? Chuck Johnson, of course, a quarterback in my Jaguars franchise, is here to help the quarterback position. We're also going to emphasize player development here as we try to develop the Steelers, their next great offense. And the focus will be on developing quarterbacks the most. You know, as a 6th-round quarterback, maybe Chuck Johnson here has a little soft spot for Will Howard, the Steelers' 6th-rounder this season. What will separate you from the rest of the coaches in this league? Let's go with innovative play calling. What does that do? Gives us the triple option play sheet. I don't know if that's the type of innovation the Steelers were missing. Wide empty, maybe that works. We have a position battle storyline we're going to open the season with as well.
Some turmoil threatens their roster in the early season. A challenge has been made for a top spot on the depth chart. Competition breeds success, but coaches will decide how far the competition goes.
Who are we talking to here? We just got here. There's turmoil already. Who's unhappy? Kenny Gainwell. I wanted to talk about my place on the depth chart. I really believe I can handle being the top halfback on this team. Kenny, we'll talk after preseason. You gotta know by now that you were brought in to be a running back 3. I haven't gotten to see too many storylines in this game, so hopefully we're in a better spot than we were last year. God, this is still so funny, though. I'm excited to have some new features with wear and tear in the game this year, and then we have a trainer we have to talk to as well that's going to offer us some abilities that will impact a lot on the player health front. So I'm excited to have wear and tear in the franchise, have a little bit of familiarity because of college football. The system in here is a little bit different because you have practice every week and you can manage reps. I think this could even be a better system than what's in CFB, but I haven't really gotten to play a ton with it. But yes, we're going to use wear and tear, and that'll be a big part of the experience. And of course, it's training camp here in the preseason, so we have a chance at earning some upgrades maybe. All right, Aaron Rodgers, are you ready for your 3rd team? That was terrible. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Unironically, it's actually the easiest to hit the far target there, apparently. Yeah, I think I've had enough of this one. That's good enough. We all waited for the Steelers to draft a quarterback this year, and they did. Will Howard in the 6th round from Ohio State. He's our young developmental quarterback. Now, it's not often that a 6th rounder ends up having any serious starting success, but when your coach is Chuck Johnson, maybe that gives you a little more chance than most. We have a coach that's going to try developing Will Howard, but yeah, we're probably going to be looking at a quarterback in the first draft class of the series. We'll take a bronze there. And I want to give Caleb Johnson a lot of chances this year to develop into a 3-down starter or a primary starter for this team. You got to have a good running game here if you're going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I do have pretty high expectations for Caleb Johnson. But in Madden, to really make these running backs develop well, you want to hit the ground running and get them a lot of touches early. And that is going to be the plan. He and Jalen Warren will split. We'll see how wear and tear is handled there, but I want to get Caleb Johnson at least in the running for Rookie of the Year. Of course, with Ashton Genty also in the AFC, I don't like our chances. And maybe one more touchdown. There we go, but no gold. And yes, I've added Treylon Burks to the offense. That is a moonball there. Rodgers, what is that? Burks being guarded by Jalen Ramsey is a colossal mismatch. Oh, wait a minute. There's no way I can let Treylon Burks wear Hines Ward's 86, though. We're going to have to change that. We have a chance to develop Troy Fautanu and some pretty decent offensive linemen. I think this situation is a lot better than it's been for Pittsburgh, but we're still going to have to probably find another starter or two to really complete things. So we're going to focus a little bit more on the offensive side, especially early in this franchise. But the Steelers still need to find some new defensive stars. And Derek Harmon, he's one of the best chances we have to develop as far as like existing players on the roster go, but we're going to have to, find more edge rushers, more secondary players, and keep the defensive tradition going here in Pittsburgh. I think we might finally get a gold here, and we do. Can't use Jack Sawyer in this drill because he's listed as an edge rusher, so Peyton Wilson is the linebacker. Ooh, that's a nice tackle. If there's anything that we should be excellent at in Season 1, it is stopping the run. But I also think the pass defense has a chance to be really good, and maybe this is a top 5, top 10 defense. All right, what if we give Treylon Burks number 87 instead? There's a little bit more to do in weekly strategy here in this game, so these abilities and the loadouts are one of the main new things here in franchise. So as you level up, you'll have access to more ability slots, and you can unlock more abilities that will grant you bonuses to player ratings or in certain situations. So we don't have a lot we can choose from here as a level 1 coach. But we do actually have access to our staff abilities. It's a way of making the coordinators matter a little bit more. So if you wanted to boost throw on the run, there's the field general skill. That's currently gold. That's actually one of Chuck Johnson's abilities. I think we need to focus on this interior dominating, though. If we're going to be good, we have to run the ball inside and also handle the interior pass rush. I can't figure out how to remove talents from my loadout. Yeah, I don't know what I'm missing here, so I guess I'm just going to move on, and then we'll get to the training menu where we have control over our 3 focus players, and then how hard are we going to be practicing? If you click into either the offense or defense, you can also handle things on the position level, but also for each player at the same time. So, really hoping wear and tear can be a good part of the experience here in this series. But given we are early here in our franchise and it's the first week of preseason, everybody's going full pads. And these are my 3 focus players. I put Joey Porter in there because I want to get him a little bit better. But Derek Harmon and Caleb Johnson, 2 rookies we're going to focus a lot on early. You got a few more menus here you have to scroll through to really see what all happens in practice, but we had a couple players actually end up unable to play in our next game. Let's get our first few upgrades in. We got a couple skill points to spend here on Troy Fautanu. Top priority here is going to be defending pass rushers. A lot of good ones here that right tackles end up facing. We're going to go with 1 agile and then 1 into pass protector. Fautanu now a 78. For Derek Harmon, I think the easiest way to get him on the fast track early in his career is to hopefully get some sacks and make him a good edge rusher or a pass rusher. We'll get +2 power moves. Caleb Johnson has a 75 elusive back, which, if you focused on, the juke could get pretty decent, but I really want to go with power. Maybe we try to keep elusive as the lead archetype, but if he's going to succeed, it's going to be off of the power. And competing then with Treylon Burks, I guess, is Roman Wilson. An explosive athlete, 82 catching. I think his best chance is to develop the route running skills, and I could see him having a role for us early in this franchise. Although, not the route running upgrade there I was hoping for. We are going to go through the preseason today, but I wanted to talk about my settings and how I handle my franchises here on this channel. So for a long time now, since 2018, these series for me have been CPU versus CPU slow sim series. No, I do not actually end up playing the games in franchise here because I'm focused on being the GM of the team, running the show, and making all the decisions. I think this has led to me ending up getting much better gameplay than if I was playing normally and tweaking sliders all the time, because the game ends up playing pretty well when we are just on default all-pro here in slow sim in franchise. It's been a tried and tested method now since 2018 for me, and I have no interest in changing the experience. This series is about the player ratings ultimately making the biggest difference in what happens on the field. I control the roster, of course. I build a custom playbook and a game plan, so the play calling still has my influence on it. I'm excited about the new weather in this game, and being in the AFC North with 4 outdoor stadiums, we should be seeing a lot of rain and snow games in this series. I love the way they look. Although, when it comes to slow simulation in heavy snow, you really can't see anything. And unless they make a patch to where you can actually see from that camera angle, my fix in the meantime is going to be going into coach mode, where I can call the plays, but the CPU takes over the quarterback controls if I don't do anything. So it's the best workaround in heavy snow games right now. The reason I don't use coach mode all the time is because I don't think it's really necessary. I think the game plays well in slow sim. I can still customize my playbook and game plan, and I would have to control kicks and some other stuff there when it comes to coach mode, but that's just going to be for heavy snow. I should also add that in these series, we don't play every game. The goal is to be the GM and work at a relatively quick pace. I end up watching a lot of the games, but sometimes it's only, certain parts of those games. We try to focus on what really matters and keep the experience moving along. I watch the big games, we watch the playoff games, and ultimately, building a team that's good for simulation is not going to be enough, because if they can't perform when we're watching the games, they're not going to help us ultimately get where we want to go. One more situation I wanted to address before we start getting into our action today. Cam Hayward is not happy with his current contract. At 36 years old, this is probably going to be one of the last contracts of his career. We have no leverage. We are a defensive football team. I am adding $10 million to this deal to get Cam Hayward to show up for this next season. And it's time now for us to get a look at this Pittsburgh Steelers team in 2025. I really want to see especially what this offense is going to look like. I don't have a lot of questions about the defense as TJ Watt picks up a sack and then Joey Porter an interception. Nice and easy situation here for Aaron Rodgers and the offense as we get the action here in the Steelers franchise underway. It's Rodgers taken off at 41 and he goes down. I've seen this a couple times. The sliding doesn't end the play. Clearly that needs to be patched. Now Rodgers fires over the middle and finds wide receiver Robert Woods inside the 5. Oh, we're going 4 receivers here, and Jaylen Warren still on his feet. He finds the end zone in impressive fashion, and the Steelers capitalize. Stop eating up the whole quarter. I want more time. Thank you, Derek Harmon. Well, the backups are in now. So, I have Will Howard getting some snaps now as a 6th-round rookie. Howard off play action. He throws this ball away. Caleb Johnson's also going to get some more reps here. He'll play for 3 quarters as Howard steps up and goes down. Can't imagine that it's easy to throw downfield here given the receiver depth in Pittsburgh. Come on, Will, make a play for us. 3rd and 8. It is not even close. Knocked away from Ben Skoranek. And I wouldn't mind a look at Caleb Johnson here, and a nice jump cut leads to a solid 4. I'm not going to watch too much of the preseason, but wanted to get some here in this opening video. We're going to fake it here. Man, this is a complete mess. We've completed 4 passes in the first 3 quarters. So now I put Mason Rudolph in the game. It feels like he's been the backup here forever. Empty. Where's Treylon Burks? There he is! Treylon Burks makes the catch. Can we make a play on 3rd and 12? Rudolph open! How about that? It's Treylon Burks again. Put this in the end zone here. Caleb Johnson grinds down to the 5. He does have one rushing touchdown already. Getting some preseason touchdowns will be good for XP. We go empty. Rudolph, can he beat the blitz? No, he can't. Josh Hines Allen. Our first game is a tie. There's no overtime in the preseason. So far, Mason Rudolph is winning the quarterback 2 battle as Howard just wouldn't get rid of the ball. And Traylon Burks was our leading receiver. 4 sacks, though, on defense, 3 interceptions. We are as advertised there. I mean, we had 3 picks. How long? You guys couldn't have played more than a quarter. I took some more notes on the Steelers before recording today. So, Pittsburgh, they have made the postseason 4 out of the last 5 years. That sounds like a pretty good deal of success, right? Well, they have gone one and done in all 4 of those playoff instances. And the closest game of the bunch was an 11-point loss to the Browns a handful of years ago. The Steelers are currently on a 6-game postseason losing streak. And if we go back to like the last years they won playoff games, they had 2 in 2016. We're approaching 9 years since their last playoff win. They had 1 playoff win in 2015. They had 2 playoff wins in 2010. Since losing the Super Bowl to the Packers in the 2010 season, the Steelers are 3-9 in playoff games. Now, they've had a lot of chances. They haven't had many losing seasons. Their last one came in 2003. Oh, I learned how to turn off certain abilities. Just got to hit the check marks here. So, I like the people movers skill. You know, we want to be grinding between the tackles with our power running backs. So, people movers is going to be a key priority. I also want this ability to give us better man coverage on both in-breaking and out-breaking routes. And I want to give our offensive line this ability here, Riot Shield, +4 awareness for all offensive linemen. And as you level up these abilities, you'll have access to even more boosts within each ability. All right, the team worked hard last week. We'll give them a half-padded practice here for week 2 of the preseason. Oh, Caleb Johnson's elbow's bothering him. Got to keep an eye on him. If you're excited about this Steelers franchise, please subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the video. I wanted this episode 1 to be a little more substantial. I feel like my episode 1s are just too much of a preview and not enough substance. So hopefully this is a good start to our Steelers journey. Want to get us to week 1 so we're ready to rock next episode. I want to see us face a good offense here in Tampa Bay. So you can see the star power we have across the D-line as Baker Mayfield. Oh, he sails it. And now that I'm back in this style of a series, man, I'm excited because that means I get to break out my telestrator. Let's go. Look at all the stars here, everybody. This is phenomenal. As Mayfield climbs and takes off, he'll get the first down. What's cool, too, about this style of franchise is that even when I'm 90 years old, I bet I could still play this way. Buccaneers facing a 3rd and 3. Mayfield, man, quarterback's taken off an awful lot here. I remember when they refused to run. Blitz coming, dumped off, good open field tackle made by Deshaun Elliott. There's a lot of Ravens influence on this defense, Steelers fans. What do you guys think about that? Deshaun Elliott, Chuck Clark, Patrick Queen. Mayfield up top. It's an end zone shot that's knocked away. Flag down. There was some contact. Ball marked at... Oh, it's on Mike Evans. Let's go. Field goal try is good. Aaron Rodgers, 41 years young. Give us a show, Aaron. 1st and 10 up the middle with Jaylen Warren. Couple yards. Rodgers back to pass and wide open. There's some speed. Calvin Austin. A big play waiting to happen. Got Darnell Washington lining up here as the fullback and whiffing on the pass protection. Yeah, this is not where we want to be with this offense. 3rd and long is basically DK, go down there, and that's the best we got. But no time. Looks like they beat left tackle Broderick Jones, and we come up empty. Let's give Caleb Johnson a chance to play now with the ones, and also let's give Traylon Burks a chance with Roman Wilson as the slot receiver. Shovel pass to DK Metcalf here off the play fake. 3rd down now for Rodgers. Protect him. He's going deep. Look at that arm strength. It's incomplete for Traylon Burks. You guys want to hear a scary story? This offense trying to run an abbreviated 2-minute drill. Let's go, Aaron. What do you got? 2 tight ends. Going to run this one here, and it's Caleb Johnson ahead. Now we're going to burn a timeout. What does Chuck Johnson have up his sleeve here? Spread out the defense. Let it fly, Aaron. What does that rotator cuff got left? Nice catch, Traylon Burks. He spins ahead to the 40-yard line. Rodgers 1st down. Here's DK Metcalf to the 34. 22 seconds left. Running ahead to spike it. Oh, it was a fake. Aaron, it is not the time. Should have just actually spiked it, because now it's halftime. You screwed it up because you wanted to pretend you're Dan Marino. So the starters failed to score entirely. We're going to try running the ball here, and that's a nice play for Trey Sermon. Will Howard is the quarterback again. We go empty. Just get the ball out, Will. Let it go. Will, you got to throw it, man. I'm so tired of this already. Patrick Queen got us his 3rd preseason interception. For some reason, he's playing with the 2s. We got to score here. Running this one inside the 5. There's Kenny Gainwell. 1st and goal. We're heading outside with Trey Sermon wrapped up on the play. Will Howard back to pass. He missed Burks because he wants the glory all to himself. Why won't Will Howard throw the ball? Come on, Will. Nope. Sacked. 3rd down and 15. Pump fake. Of course, he fakes the throw and then is intercepted. He's not winning this QB2 battle. Calling a play there with a built-in pump fake is probably the funniest thing Madden could have done for that moment right there. We're going to give him another chance. Plenty of time, Will. He threw it. He did. And he missed. I don't think this is going to be Chuck Johnson Part 2. He's wide open. Mason Rudolph is in the game. For now. We have picked off Teddy Bridgewater twice since the last play we watched. Pick 6 for Miles Killebrew. Mason Rudolph is the quarterback now. I'm sorry, Will Howard, but maybe next year. Pressure through. Oh, boy. Just complete some simple plays, guys. Roman Wilson there unable to make the play. So, one of the best players on the team right here, Chris Boswell, 57-yard field goal. He missed it. Teddy Two Gloves back in the NFL. A little play action. Pressured there by Jack Sawyer. Good play. Sawyer, he's going to line up down here as the right edge rusher. And Teddy dumps this one. This is trouble. Where's the defense? It's a foot race, and Jalen Ramsey's out there, and we're still getting beat. Yeah, the depth chart here is not exactly optimized. I can't believe you just let him score on that. So many starters are on the field, allowing that to happen. And for those wondering, the bug that makes it so I can't back out of watching Super Sim is still here. It's often triggered by missed field goals. And yeah, the bug that we've been dealing with since the dawn of these series is still here. Roman Wilson on a catch here in the 4th quarter. Mason Rudolph. Pocket presence here is something we have to work on. 4th and 5. Here's Mason Rudolph going down. 7 sacks allowed. Well, there's a TFL. Nice to see from Nick Herbig, one of our backup edge rushers. Rudolph is going deep, and it's a leaping catch. Who pulled that one down with pass interference on the play? Oh boy, wide open. Roman Wilson that time. 4th and 18 now for the Steelers. Rudolph, end zone. No, incomplete. We couldn't convert a 3rd or 4th down the entire game. That's the state of the Steelers offense. We had 106 yards. We're actually having some of our talents downgraded right now. We gave up 8 sacks, had 43 yards rushing, 14 carries, 43 yards. I'll have to look into how this stuff works, but that's not good. Talking to our trainer here about different injury-related abilities. And I think I'm going to go with this practice protector for injury prevention during the week. So on top of our staff abilities, we have access right now to 1 trainer ability at a time. So the active one has been for reducing wear and tear impacts during the 4th quarter. You can choose to reduce your injury chance during practice, during games. That's probably the best one there. Or reducing wear and tear damage if that's more of a concern. I like that I can set up all the players and their strategy here in practice. So I'm trying to make sure, like Jalen Warren's ready for week 1. Give Caleb Johnson those reps. Aaron Rodgers, yeah, you're going to have to rest. And I would prefer that Mason Rudolph get the reps. You don't have to go by position either. It's just organized if you want it that way. But definitely want to have full pads for some of these young guys who might not play a ton of snaps early, but need the chance to keep developing. So resting Jalen Warren means he gets no XP. He's effectively not practicing at all. Caleb Johnson, because he had full pads, gets 486. Gainwell and Sermon 116. And it's the final preseason game ahead of week 1 when we take on the New York Jets. Can this offense look at least watchable this time? That's cool. Was that Greg Olsen doing that? The Steelers are 0-1-1 in the preseason. Aaron Rodgers zips the pass outside to Calvin Austin. Here's a give and a nice run. It opens up for Jalen Warren, and he breaks a tackle. Yeah, Warren is still going to play, a good bit here in season 1. I'll see if I can put together any wear and tear, auto sub sliders. But Warren had that long run, another carry, and then an additional run here. Get Caleb Johnson in there. And now Gainwell rotates in as the 3rd down running back. Okay. 3rd down and 4. Rodgers on the dump off, and Metcalf didn't get it. I just saw that there was an injury that is going to impact the start of this series. Aaron Rodgers, meanwhile, he's running around and finding DK Metcalf for the touchdown. Let's hope we can have a good year with these two. Rodgers blitzed. Metcalf takes the ball out of the air. This has actually been a really good day for the offense. Rodgers is showing he's ready for week 1 against one of his former teams. I want to see the defense one more time then. Panthers running up the middle. I don't want to see a lot of that this year. Running this outside. Oh, a stiff arm. There's a hit from Patrick Queen. That's what I'm talking about. Let's stop the drive right here. Panthers heading to the air. And Bryce Young hits Adam Thielen. Not much. 3rd down. Bryce Young Throwing for T-Mac on the outside, but out of bounds. So it's a good end of the preseason then for Pittsburgh. They win this game 30-10, going 1-1-1. Much better showing by Aaron Rodgers. 202 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. But we did suffer an injury in this game. And to start the year, we're going to be missing Jaylen Warren at running back, meaning it's Caleb Johnson's backfield right away. 3 to 7 weeks with the torn labrum. As it gets closer, we'll get a better idea of when he's going to return, but now you get more of a range. Kind of a big loss when you consider now we have to start a rookie running back right away. We have a 41-year-old quarterback and absolutely no depth at any position. Injuries on this side of the ball are going to be very difficult to overcome. So Caleb Johnson and Kenny Gainwell are going to open as our primary 2 running backs while we wait for the return of Jaylen Warren. Got some talents upgraded here thanks to a pretty solid performance. Ooh, the angry runner ability. That sounds like it could be a useful one. Increased chances of broken tackles on screens. Increased chance on broken tackles on short pass catches. So this is more a run after the catch ability than a running back one. So we had the 32nd ranked offense in preseason, 588 yards. Defense was solid, but we were the 2nd worst passing team, ahead of the Saints. Does that even count? 31 first downs, that puts us in last place. 20.3 points per game. That sounds like Steelers offense here in the modern day. Defense is excellent, but it's just not enough to have a good defense with the current landscape of the AFC. Aaron Rodgers has a successful all-around preseason. I will say allowing 16 sacks, not very promising. Mason Rudolph, he beats out Will Howard to stay QB2. Caleb Johnson, 23 carries, 69 yards. How efficient can we really expect him to be as a rookie? Traylon Burks, 6 catches, 90 yards, playing 104 downs, so he had a lot of chances. Roman Wilson had 3 catches. A couple of them looked pretty decent. I think we opened the year with Burks maybe as the number 4 receiver. Oh, Andrus Peat was on this team. I was trying to find a way to add him to the roster. I guess these rosters I have are pretty up to date. Patrick Queen, though, 3 interceptions, 20 tackles, excellent preseason. TJ Watt had 3 sacks, and we have to set this roster. All right, got to cut 21 players now. We will release Skylar Thompson. Will Howard will be the QB3. I don't want the cap penalty here on Ben Skoronix, so we're probably going to cut Scott Miller then. I like this tight end group a lot. I really want to keep all 5 of these guys right now if I can. Oh, we have a kicker here we can stash on the practice squad. Well, if we have to have a long snapper, then I would like more than 0 long snap. All right, let's let this Kenny Gainwell position battle storyline play out. Oh, here we go. Hey, coach, been putting in some good reps. You said to sync up this week, so here I am. Am I getting named the starter or what? You're not ready. Wow, we have all been impressed by your effort as of late. I don't have good news for you. We are not going to make a change at halfback this year. I've been dreading that answer all week. Neither of us knows what the future holds. I mean, he's certainly going to play. I just wanted to see what would happen here, and there was no morale change. I'm curious what would have happened there if we had named him the starter, but certainly Kenny Gainwell is going to be out there. He gets an elusive back upgrade. Does the game make you have a long snapper in this game? If not, I'm still making it a house rule that I have to have a long snapper now that they're in the game. So we are going to sign James Winchester. Calais Campbell was actually cut here at the end of camp. An 85 overall defensive tackle has become available. Man, Miles Murphy was cut. We could actually add him to our practice squad. Things didn't work out in Cincinnati, but might be worth a Traylon Burks-like second chance here in Pittsburgh. And it looks like we are set up now for week 1 of season 1. Here are all the transactions made here at the very end, filling out the practice squad and getting us down to a 53-man roster. What do we think about this team to start the series? This offense clearly needs more, but now is not the time to scramble and make trades and sacrifice picks for a team whose offensive ceiling is not significant. The hope is that we can run the football well, that we protect the ball at the same time, and can just grind teams down with our defense and do just enough on the offensive side. We all know in this division and in the AFC, that's going to be a tough way to win games with how many great quarterbacks and offenses there are. We open against the Jets. Then we face the Seahawks. This is a very favorable quarterback schedule, I think, to begin. You go Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, maybe Shadur Sanders or Joe Flacco. I have no idea who starts for the Browns. Week 7 is when it starts to really pick up, though. The first game against the Bengals in prime time. And the second half of the schedule looks like the tough one, where you get the Packers afterwards. You got the Chargers, who I think are playing a better brand of the Steelers offense now with Jim Harbaugh. Bengals again, the Bears are here, the Ravens are both in the final 5 games, the Lions non-conference. I'm excited to now have this series started. I saw how much enthusiasm there was when I suggested the Steelers could be my team this year. This was the team that seemed to get the most support when I was streaming and talking about who my team could be. I ran a 3-team poll with them, Seattle, and the Colts. The Steelers won that with over 40% of the vote. And I'm sure many Steelers fans who are looking for franchise content aren't used to getting big franchises involving them. Well, now is a great time, and I'm excited to have this series underway. Big episode 1. Not sure how long this one's going to be, but it's got everything you need here to get ready for the start. And I'll see you all in episode 2, the first game of the Steelers franchise, and of course, a whole lot more. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe and like the video, and have a great day.